This program, volleyball, started 5 years ago when I came to Blair. It started out as an intramural team, and we really and truly had 4 girls, me and another teacher, and it was just a lot of fun, about an hour after school. Built up a lot of interest that year, and we moved into a club level the second year. Had a full team of about 13, 14 girls, played maybe 5, 6 games, got the sport introduced more to the school. Built up, so we were a JV program in our third year. More success, more interest. It's a great tool to get girls interested in Blair. It gives another option in the fall besides field hockey, soccer, tennis, and cross country. And then this is the second year as a varsity program. So last year was year 1, sort of a modified season, about 12 games, no preseason. And this year it's all in, full preseason, 18, 19 games. The administration, the athletic department has been absolutely 100% behind it. Admissions has been really good with it as well because, like I said, it brings in some girls that might not look at Blair otherwise because they've had experience with the sport or they're coming from states, in the South or the West, that have strong volleyball programs in the middle schools. It's also good for girls who are transferring in as sophomores or juniors. So they're coming from a school where they're maybe happy with one thing, but they're looking for something else. Blair now offers both. It's sort of been cliched, teammates, bonding, etc. But it's true. A volleyball court, you have 6 girls. And if you don't communicate, if you don't talk, if you don't know how they move or how they work, it could be a disaster. Balls are going to drop in the middle. All the girls are going to look and say, well, I thought that was you. I thought that was me. And it can be a beautiful sport if everyone's working together. Expectations for the team really is to, improve upon what we built last year. I had no seniors graduate, so a lot of my returners are back for the year. We have a 5 seniors this year who have been with me for most of them 3-4 years. So they're really trying to build upon that success. We were 2-10 last year, which is not a great record for a varsity program, but it was the first 2 wins we had really experienced. So they've learned how to work together as a team, and for them this year is taking what they learned, now that they know the basics and have sort of built that first level, taking it up a notch.
Pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into Strive TV. My name is Joe Vasile. I'll be joined in just a minute by Tom Monfiletto, and this is Blair Buccaneers Volleyball. We'll be taking on the Pope John Lions here this afternoon. As you see right there on your screen, Blair coming in at 3-8 on the season. You just heard Coach Curtis talk about wanting to improve a little bit upon last year. They certainly have done that already, and really, Tom, especially over their last few games, 3-2 in their last 5.
Yeah, they're starting to find a little bit of a groove here. They're starting to find a bit of a groove, and they are a team that is kind of, I don't know what it would take to start a program from scratch. Mm-hmm. And Laura Curtis has been able to do that. And it's taken some time. She said it took 5 years. They started out as a JV program. Last year they were a varsity team, but they didn't have a preseason. This year they've had a preseason, and you're going to start to see this gain some momentum. It is an offering that girls are looking for, that are heading to private school, that want to get to college. It's another option, just like she said, for girls to find a way to get to their whatever college they want to get to. It's an awesome option to have as a fall sport, and it's something that Blair is really happy to have and really happy to be able to compete with. And they are improving. They have a lot of star talent on this team. They have some raw talent as well, and it's just cultivating that, bringing in some new players, getting everybody together to provide a cohesive effort, and we're looking forward to a good match today.
We'll certainly see some of that talent on display and talk about it a little bit more as the game progresses. As we mentioned, Blair 3-2 in their last 5. They lost their first 6 matches of the season and have come right back since, currently riding a 2-game winning streak. On the 10th, that was last Saturday, they had a dominating 2-0 win against Warren County Tech, that one on the road at Warren County. And then also on the 13th of October, they had a 2-0 win against Golden Oak Academy, where they dropped the first set, then came back and won the last 2 to end up winning the match. It was a good come-from-behind effort for the Buccaneers in that one to improve their record to 3-8 on the season. Now looking to notch win number 4 against a pretty tough Pope John opponent. Just taking a look at them in the warm-ups, quite frankly, Tom. Team that's got a lot of height and one that, certainly does have some talent and should pose a good challenge here for Blair.
Yeah, it is going to be a challenge, and this is one thing that Blair will continue to do. They continue to schedule really strong opponents. They do it in every single sport. They don't back away from the most talented, and they've only won 3 matches this year, but they have won a couple sets that they're pretty happy about, and they've competed in matches against teams that have had programs that have been a little bit more established, like a Rutgers Prep. So this is it has been. I think this has been a success. I think if you ask Laura Curtis whether or not, if the season ended today, whether or not she would view this as a success, I think she would, because they are competing. Now they know what the taste of victory feels like, and this is something that they're just looking to continue to build on as the program grows and looking to compete immediately, not just in the future.
Yeah, and especially for a program in its second season, when you start to see those steps being taken forward and the improvements being made, that's always a very encouraging sign as far as the future success. So Blair will get the ball first here as they'll set up and look to get some points on the board. Good recovery made by the Lions. Smedgy come in at 8 and 9 on this season. Good block coming that time. It was Lauren Stauffe who got in the way of the spike attempt, and just like that, we've got the first points of the game. 1-0 Blair.
Stauffe with a nice block there. Great defense, very long, athletic. And a nice play.
It's Morgan Vallejo serving here for Blair. Nice dig that time by Lauren LaRosa. She's the libero for Pope John. That one's a little long and out of bounds, so even the score up at 1-1 here in the first set very early on. Take a look at the replay.
We'll take a look at the block here that got the first point of the game for Blair, and it was a good one.
Pope John on the serve, and first attempt by Kristen Spetz goes right in the net. So mark that up as a point in favor of Blair. They were up 2-1 in this one. Serving for the Bucks, maybe Bear. Nice job that time by Jess Loundis, slamming one home for Blair after, well, there was a pretty good recovery that was made by Pope John, but they just kind of allowed the Buccaneers to set up very nicely and now take a 3-1 advantage.
Another nice play by Lowndes. Look for her to establish some dominance there in front of the net.
Buccaneers get one home, goes off of LaRosa's arm and out of bounds on the back. Just another point.
Nice effort by LaRosa, just a little bit out of her reach there. Blair so far starting off pretty hot.
Bear will serve again as they've won 2 straight points with their serving. 4-1 the score, favor the Buccaneers. Shot went apparently a little bit wide. Now they're going to say it hit the line. 4-2 now the score as Pope John has gotten themselves back in the scoring column. Although now they're going to get together and confirm this call, and it is in fact going to be a little bit wide. Perhaps take a look at a replay on that one if we get a chance. I'm not sure if we even have the right angle to make the call, but it'll be 5-1 now the score in favor of the Buccaneers in the first set.
See if we can get that, get a look at that, Joe. A little bit of a break.
That was Lowndes knocking that one home for the Buccaneers. Now 6-1 the score in favor of Blair. Going on a nice run here, 5 straight points. And a service ace coming from Bear. She's really having some success in the serve game here. 7-1. Now the score in favor of the Buccaneers.
Take a look at that serve again. Perfect serve. by
Well,
Blair.
it was right into no man's land. There serves again. Pope John comes across. Big hit attempt by Julia DePut. Ends up going off the arm of the Buccaneers and out of bounds. And so Pope John finally takes one back. 7-2 now the score as they will serve. That's Allison Lawrence getting that one away for the Lions, and she is able to come up with an ace of her own.
Yeah, really nice serve by Lawrence, getting Pope John back into this game.
Lawrence sets up once again. Here it comes. Hashed over the net by Lowndes. The Buccaneers now. Lions back out with it. Hit that time by Kay O'Connor, went a little long. Now 7-4 is Pope John going on a run of their own. Is really volleyball so much a sport where you have these runs, and it's a lot of times in closely contested contests, just who ends up going on the last one.
Yeah, and it is, it's you're never out of it. You're really never out of a set because look how quickly you can garner points if you have a good server like Pope John has right now. You can come back quickly.
That one goes out of bounds. The bump attempt by Morgan Vallejo went a little bit long and a little bit wide. So now the score 7-5 in favor of Pope John, who's had quite an interesting season as far as some of the streaks they've been on, as Lawrence comes up with another ace, his second of her service. He started off the year 2-5, then went on a 6-1 streak and have now lost their last 3 matches. Going to get back into the win column here this afternoon as it goes out of bounds once again, and we are all knotted up at 7 here in the first set. They get a timeout called here by the Bucks as, well, they went on a 6-point run, and now all of a sudden Pope John has gone on one of their own.
Yeah, and it's a combination of great serving and some opportune taking advantage of some opportunities for Pope John. And while we have a timeout on the floor, we'll take a look at our coach corner here in terms of Laura Curtis, who is in her 5th season here at Blair Academy. And you heard her in the interview before the match started. This was an intramural program at first, and then it went to club level. She played club level volleyball at William & Mary when she attended William & Mary. She's also a geometry teacher here and the assistant athletic director. So very proud of her Buccaneers squad here today, and thought it was time to gather the troops as the score became tied and calm them down, get them back to their successful ways that and the hot start that they started off with.
Yeah, but right now Allison Lawrence is just in the zone right now with her serves. It's now 7 straight points. Good look that time by Blair as that one just rolled right over the top of the net. Now they can try and set up and get something back. Coming up for the spike attempt is Lowndes, but Pope John able to dig and counter. Get it back over. It was a little bit wide, but it was good enough for a point for Pope John, as that one just did stay in bounds on the back line.
Yeah, that's where you see how important communication is, Joe. It's something that Laura Curtis talked about before the match started, and it is essential on the volleyball court. I think there was a little bit of confusion as to who was supposed to come up with the previous one, as this point drops in for Pope John, and Pope John has, I believe, scored 7 unanswered points.
Well, it looked like that time Lowndes and Vallejo just were both going for it and both kind of pulled up just at the wrong time as serve here by Lawrence hits the net. And so a lucky break for the Buccaneers as they get a point. Now have a chance to try and gain some of the momentum back that Lawrence was able to neutralize.
Yeah, that could be the break that they need here, as they had a ton of their success while serving, and they give it back right here. So they're going to have to go on the defense once again.
Yeah, Lindsay Stallkrantz was unable to get that one, and she ended up hitting it right into the net. And so a couple of serves, well, right in a row playing into the net. Now serving for Pope John is Claudia Fry. She's got 25 aces on the season. Second on the team. And she gets number 26 right there.
That is pretty impressive. That's a tough one to defend right there. And Blair needs to find an answer for these really talented servers for Pope John.
12-8 is the score. Favor the Lions. John setting up here. Trying for the spike that time was Kaylee Duke. It was blocked. Ball ends up going out of bounds. Last touch by Blair, and so 13-8. Now the score in favor of Pope John here in set number 1. Of course, you do play up to 25. So still pretty early on in this opening set. They just got to get it over, and they do. Pope John with their own troubles, and they're not able to get this one over the net as DePut just tried to bump it over, was unable to get enough elevation on it, and so point for Blair once again. 13-9 now the score. They were out to a 7-1 lead at one point, but Pope John's been doing some good work on their serves. A little miscommunication that time on the side of the Lions. I'll allow Blair to set up here as that one's blocked by Olivia Kiss. Right back over to Blair. They knock it over. Now Kiss sets up for a spike, and that one is blocked by Lauren Stoffy.
Another great play by Stoffy and a huge pivotal point there for Blair.
13-10 is, well, that's 2 in a row. So they just really needed something like that to get some momentum going. Is now Pope John is unable to get set up properly and get anything over. Now we're going to get a timeout called here by the Lions with the score 11-13. Blair set all up to serve. Is be a look here at little player spotlight. And of course it is Sophie Pollock.
Sophie Pollock, a senior captain on this team. She's been a part of the squad since she came in as a new sophomore here. She's got 96 assists on the season. And she has been really the driving force for this offense. As she sets up her teammates, she is just the beacon of unselfishness, and she's a really, really strong player. She is somebody that the school is very, very proud to have leading this volleyball program as it is in its infancy. And you'll see Pollock, most of Blair's points kind of run through her. She is sort of the Jason Kidd of this offense, if you will.
Serving for Blair is Alyssa Arana. John sets up. A nice job to bang it home by Kaylee Duke of the Lions, making it 14-11. Hope John goes back on the serve. It'll be Julia DePut. Blair's got to get it over, and they do. Setting up for Duke again on a serve. Good recovery here by the Bucks. Get that one over and keep the ball alive. A nice block coming that time from Stoffy, and another block. She's got 3 already here in this game. And unfortunately was unable to get enough elevation on the ball that time. Hit it into the net and it fell down on Blair's side. So 15-11. Now the score.
What a volley that was, Joe. An outstanding play by Mabry Bear to keep it going in the corner. And unfortunately, Blair winds up on the wrong end of it, but a tremendous effort by the Bucks.
Olivia Kiss tries to send one home, but it's dug out nicely by Arana. Arana will let that drive go wide, a little bit long, so 15-12. Now the score. Blair will once again be on the service. Taking it this time is Paula Hong. Junior. Spiked another nice block, coming that time from Lauren Stoffy. Like Sophie Pollock was in the area as well. Not sure exactly which one of them got a hand on it. We've seen Blair doing a very nice job blocking some shots early on. Serve goes a little bit wide, so Pope John takes it again, 16-13. And it'll be Olivia Kiss doing the serve. She too has 25 aces this season. Trying to send it home. That time was Mabry Bear. Force a mistake by the Lions. Goes out of bounds. 16-14. Blair will take it back, as just seeing some real back and forth here over these last few games.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a classic match here, Joe. As both teams going back and forth. A lot of strong play on either side. Some great play at the net. Some great serving. It's pretty much all you can ask for. You're looking for a volleyball match here. So far, really impressed with Staffy at the net for the Buccaneers. She has been an integral part of their offense and defense.
Serving was Kathleen Corrigan for Pope John, and shot attempt by Mabry Bear. A little bit too long, a couple feet. 18-14 now, Pope John. I'm going to take the opening set of this one.
I really didn't miss by much, Joe. It was a pretty good hit by Bear.
On a dig set up, here comes the spike attempt from Staffy. Gets it to go. 15-18. Blair will set up once again. Morgan Vallejo, senior, will be doing the serving. A knuckleball of a serve, and ends up getting returned right back into the net. And the Buccaneers have pulled back within 2 points here in this first set, 18-16. Vallejo again, right into the upright.
I was just going to give Vallejo a lot of credit for her serving capabilities, as it seems like she's the one that really provides a spark for this Blair team. And she put one into the net. But nonetheless, a great effort so far from Vallejo.
And that one was tipped by the Buccaneers right into no man's land.
And you see
so they get it right back.
A little miscommunication on the part of Pope John there, as that one fell in between in no man's land. A little Bermuda Triangle. That's not something that you want when you're trying to dig a ball out.
Good save that time. Isla Rosa from the volley right back over the net. Was out of bounds. So now Buccaneers have pulled within one here late in this first set, 19-18. Served by Bear. Dug out and it's tipped right over the net. That time by Maddie McGuire. And that one, that time fell in no man's land on the Bucs side. Making it 20-18.
And that's a really tough play. A nice lucky break for Pope John there, as it barely clipped the top of the net. It's almost like ping pong. You can just aim for that area. You get the point. And this one drops in for Pope John. Allison Lawrence on the serve once again, as she has done such a great job. Stahlkrantz for Blair, I think, maybe thought that might have been a little bit wide, and I think she would like to have that decision back.
Right with a good job to get it over, keep it alive. Kiss tries to tip it, and she does successfully. Right into a vacated area. And it's now a 4-point lead for the Lions once again. And, oh, Tom, another timeout taken here by the Buccaneers. And, well, if you're Coach Curtis here in the huddle, talking a little bit about, you have to assume some of that communication.
Yeah, communication and trying to figure out an answer to stop such talent as Kiss. As you just watch this, little, ironically, some great touch on that. Some might call that a little kiss over the net there for Pope John. And she's an outstanding player. She's somebody that we were looking forward to watching before the game started, and she has so far lived up to the bill. But like you said, I think one of the things that Laura Curtis needed to stress in that huddle was just communication. They need to be able to score when they don't serve. And that is something that they have to work on here.
And boy, that one, not some good communication on that play as Stallkrantz looked like she had somebody set up, but ball just dropped. 23-18. Set here by Pollock, spiked over the net by Lowndes. And that looked a little bit better for the Buccaneers as they'll get the service back.
Well placed, well played. And I think the best part about that is they don't have to deal with Lawrence serving anymore for Pope John. So it is 23-19. Blair with the serve. They can get right back into this.
Stallkrantz on the serve. It's a pretty good one. She'll get that one to go for an ace.
And that is huge. This would be a great, great set win for the Buccaneers if they are able to come back from it. Pope John looking to deny them this opportunity.
Another good serve here by Stallkrantz, dug out by Kristen Spetz. Tipped over the net for Pope John by Maddie McGuire. Kiss, little touch right over the net. Trying to get it to go was Lowndes. Going to call infraction on Kiss that time and give the point to the Buccaneers. 23-21, or rather 21-23 here in this first set.
And Kiss coming into this game at 25 blocks. You see that time she just went a little bit too far, and it was a good job by Blair taking advantage of that opportunity as Kiss with another kill. That's her 46th kill of the season.
And certainly just an excellent job that time, just slamming that one home. Now we're looking at set point, 24-21. Claudia Fry in there to serve.
Fry's done an excellent job as well for the Lions.
They desperately needs to try and get this one back. Goes over. Good tip over the net, and going to award the point to the Buccaneers, make it 24-22.
These Bucks will not go away, Joe. They're going to battle to the last point here. 2 down. They got to feel like they can win this.
That's what you like to see, that scrappiness, that fighting attitude of this team. Popped up over by Lauren Stoffey. Line set up. Here comes Kiss trying to drive one home, and it goes. And that will end the first set.
We'll take another look at it. It was a beautiful hit by Kiss in an area where there was nothing that Blair could do about it, and that is why she has, I believe, 81, or I'm sorry, she has 47 kills on the year. We'll take another look at it right here as this one ends the first set in favor of the Buccaneers. Just beautifully hit in the left corner. Nobody there. No question about it. And that ends it for Pope Sparta. Really exciting first set there, Joe.
Yeah, it certainly was. And Tom, you know, we both noticed it and commented on it. Not only the way that the Buccaneers came back there after they had fallen behind by a pretty good margin at one point, but came back to really make it a close first set right there at the end, but also just some of the athleticism and some of the communication issues that the team had as well.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that, Joe. There was definitely a little bit of that. And on the defensive side, they tended to struggle a little bit. I think Claudia Fry gave him some trouble. Allison Lawrence gave him some trouble while serving. But there were still some positives that you can take out of it. I just want to take a quick look at a replay of one of the spikes here from Lowndes that gave Pope John a ton of trouble. There was also an ace here from Morgan Valio that got them back into it towards the end of the first set. And these are things that they need to take on the offensive side. When they are serving, they are a much, much stronger team. And that's something that you really just need to bottle up and keep searching for those things that you do well and try to keep it on their side. So we'll see what they come up with here. There's no sense of getting down. They went up to a huge lead. Pope John strong enough to battle through it, to sustain that kind of initial onslaught from the Buccaneers, and this is a strong team, and I know that Blair knows that they are in for a serious match here. So If it goes 3, it would be fantastic.
And we will take a quick step aside and be right back after this with set number 2. The score is 1-0. 1 set to nothing in favor of Pope John. They won the opening set 25-22. Just about set to start the second set of this one. As you can see right there on the bottom of the screen, Pope John leads 1 set to nothing. They won the first set 25-22, but it was a good job by the Buccaneers of, well, coming back and fighting really right down to the wire in that one. Now they'll try and even things up here and force a third set in this game. Blair will be on the service first, and as we mentioned, they are a much stronger offensive team when they are the team that is serving, as is really generally the case with most teams. They'll try and set out. And a nice job there by Sophie Pollock, just tipping that one right over the net, and it's an early 1-0 lead here in set number 2 for the Buccaneers.
And a nice point by Pollock. Getting it done by herself for this time instead of setting somebody else up, so that's good to see.
Stahlkrantz with the serve. And a hit that went out of bounds. And so just like that, 2-0. It's the score in favor of the Buccaneers. Pope John standing around a little bit confused.
And we're going to take a quick look at the replay here as that just gets out of bounds. And I think there's a little bit of argument here as to whether or not it did go out of bounds. We'll take another look at it.
Well, this will be a good angle to see, although it's hard to see.
Yeah, it's tough to
because
see from that angle.
their body right in the way, getting in between the ball and the line. You can't really see whether it landed in or out. With the naked eye, from our vantage point here, it looked like it was a little bit out, and you got to give credit to the referee on the opposite side. He was right on top of it, and he saw the whole thing. He was in perfect position to make the call, and he was the one who ruled that it was out of bounds.
I think the point does go to Pope John, so
yeah,
they confer, they change the decision.
And that is exactly what the call will be, so shows how much that was worth.
I do think that in the replay, obviously the Buccaneer player was in front of it, and a nice point there from Pope John, and I believe it was Blair who was in front of it who decided not to go after it, and it looked like it might have bounced in before bouncing out there, so tough call. Point goes to say Pope John.
We now lead it 2-1, and the serve from Kristen Spetz was a couple feet wide of the back line, and so now all even up at 2-2 here in the second set. Blair will go back on the service. Alyssa Arana, the sophomore, will take it. Long serve, that's touched. Oh, they've got to get it over. They do. This can be set up nicely. Pollock leaves for Stoffy. Tries to slam it home, but a nice dig out by La Rosa. Pollock sets up again. This time goes all the way to the far side for Kay O'Connor. Got one down, but dug out once again nicely by the Lions. Setting back up is Blair. Stoffy with another drive. Defended nicely by Pope John, and that one they just hit right into the net. And the Bucks take a 3-2 lead.
When Staffy entered the game, there was a roar in the crowd. There was a chill in the air. Everybody knows she means business. She is an extremely strong player, and she's having a tremendous match here today.
Served by Arana goes into the net. Evens things up at 3-3. And puts Pope John back on the serve, and it's Allison Lawrence went on that terrific run in the first set that really got Pope John out to the lead that they would never really relinquish after then. But a nice job by Kay O'Connor to tip that one just over the fingertips of Olivia Kiss, and that'll go down as a point for the Buccaneers. They take a 4-3 lead in what's been a back and forth second set.
It's been back and forth, but they look much better than they did in the first set. I feel like this is almost a new team, and a team that is, maybe it's the different side of the court, but they do not look, I think they looked a little bit apprehensive on the defensive end in the last set, but this time not the case.
Yeah, certainly whatever Coach Clark, said between sets there, at least to this point, has sunk in rather nicely for the Buccaneers. (5-4) now the score. Favor of Pope John. There's Olivia Kiss coming through big for the Lions, just stuffing that one home as, well, that was Sophie Pollock trying to get it over, but Kiss just got her lengthy arms right up in the way.
Crowd coming out in full force here today.
A very nicely sized crowd. Almost all the bleachers are completely filled. You know, looks like even a nice contingent of Pope John fans as well, cheering when they do some things as well. So a good home crowd for the Bucks, but also Lions with some supporters of their own.
Pope John located in Sparta, New Jersey, not exactly nearby, as nothing is really nearby to Blairstown, New Jersey.
That is a good point. It's one of those West Jersey things.
Yeah, I guess so, but it is beautiful.
There is some nice space, some good mountains, but other than that, then again, that's North Jersey me talking. 8-4, Pope John leads. Ball goes wide of the back line, and so 8-5. And Blair will take over. Service here, it will be Sophie Pollock. Bang it to the other side. Gets off a good one. Knocked over by Staffy. Hit by Pope John, goes long once again. 8-6, so a couple of unforced errors for the Lions, allowing Blair to get back in this one. At least keep this second set in check. Lions set up and hit it long once again. 8-7.
3 points in a row for the Bucks as things are starting to look good here.
With all of them coming with Pollock serving. She will do again here. Dug out nicely by Pope John. That was Kristen Spetz with the dig for them. Woo. Was slammed home by Lucy Pennell. Looked like it hit off of the arm of the Pope John player before caroming out of bounds, and so we are all tied up at 8. Once again, Pollock will serve as soon as the ball is returned to this side.
And that was smoked by Lucy Pennell. That was a rocket of a shot and a great point for Blair to tie it up.
8 up. Nice block that time by Staffy. She got the deflection. Blair tried to slam it home, but it ended up getting tipped right at the net. I call a whistle on Sophie Pollock, going underneath the net on that one.
Can't do that.
No, that's something I learned.
That was a great effort, though.
In gym class volleyball. Got to stay on your side of the net. One of the few things I retained from that. As now Pope John opens up a 10-9 lead, a 10-8 lead, pardon.
Fortunately, Blair cannot afford to have unforced errors here as they try to stay in this match and win the second set.
Blair tried to slam it home, but a nice job by Pope John to dig and keep it alive. Stay it right back on the other side. Pennell hits it back over. Pope John setting up and knocking it home for the point for Pope John is Kristen Spetz. That'll open up a 3-point lead. We're in the middle of the set, 11-8. It was, that time, not an unforced error, just a good job by Pope John.
Yeah,
and especially Spetz of knocking that one home.
Exactly, and they got Blair's defense out of position there. They've done a pretty good job at that when they've gotten points here to get them out of position, just hit it where they're not. And Coach Curtis is going to take a timeout here, a well-timed timeout as they go down 4. I mean, obviously not an insurmountable deficit, not an insurmountable amount of points to make up here. But this is something that this is an area where there's a time where Blair really needs to kind of stop the bleeding here so they can get back into it.
Yeah, it's one of those times where you use the timeout to try and deaden some of the momentum, almost like you see used a lot of times by basketball coaches, just to stop the run, stop the bleeding, and try and at least get something going here when you come out of the timeout. It's about 30 seconds remain here before we will resume play. 12-8 the score, 1-0. That's the sets in favor of Pope John. They won the opening set 25-22. Looking to get back to 500 on the season.
While we're coming back from the break, I just want to show that point from Lucy Penner that was just fantastic, and it just wound up deflecting off of Claudia Fry, getting the point for the Buccaneers. So one of the positive offensive plays here for the Bucks in the second set.
Pennell comes up with the hit, the big lefty. Couldn't get one to go, though. And a little miscommunication there as Arana collided with Pennell. Both get up in there fine as we got quite the volley going on. Stauffi drains it home. 9-12 now as the Buccaneers get the serve back and will try and get some momentum of their own. It'll be Morgan Valio. And a good serve by her as Olivia Kiss couldn't handle it.
Beautiful serve from Valio. I think Blair has found their favorite serving extraordinaire in Valio.
Certainly has done a good job. Couple of big aces on this one today, and a good block that time by Pennell. Ends up just falling down. Makes it 11-12 as Blair's trying to tie up this second set. Run of 3 straight points for the Buccaneers. Kiss with the drive over for the Lions, and just trying to tip it over was Lowndes. She was unable to control it enough, and it went out of bounds. We'll go back to Pope John, 13-11.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Lowndes really knew where she was on the court there. She was a little bit too far, and it wound up going out of bounds.
Good dig that time by Valio. Now they'll set up. Pollock leaves for Pennell, spikes it home, but it's dug out nicely by Pope John, and back the other way. Valio, Pollock sets up. Lowndes couldn't get it to go. So Lions set up once again. Nice job by Lowndes just getting that one over. Left up, here comes Pennell. They'll try and get it over, and a good recovery. That time by the Bucks. Lions setting up. Valio tips it, and it goes back over, and it goes off of Olivia Kiss and out of bounds on the back. What a point for the Buccaneers.
That was incredible, Joe. That went on for about 20 seconds. That was outstanding.
Bear now to serve for the Bucks. Going back over and spiking it home and keeping it just inside the back boundary was Kaylee Duke. So just like that, Pope John won't allow the Bucks to gain any momentum off that last point win, and they are back out to a 14-12 lead. Here in set number 2. Pope John's able to win this one. Well, they win the match. Bucks trying to keep this one going. It's Kathleen Corrigan serving for Pope John. Pennell with the drive. Blocked nicely, but they're going to say that Lowndes went over the net. Trying to block that one, 15-12.
I just want to take a quick look at the end of that point. The point heard around the world, as that was just an outstanding effort by this Buccaneer team. And you see it ending there. We'll go back to live action.
Serve went right into the net when we were looking at the replay. So Blair will take it here, 13-15. It's going to be Lucy Pennell, sophomore, doing the serving for the Bucks. Southpaw winds and fires and comes up with an ace. (14-15) as they're throwing the ball back to me.
You know, I think people talk about baseball handshakes a lot. Volleyball handshakes are a little bit cooler.
We need to save one of those on replay as Pennell's serve was a little bit wide. Make it 16-14. Now in favor of Pope John. As you know, you talk about the handshakes, and they certainly are some good ones. Also, I grew to become a fan over the years as that one just stays in bounds. 17-14 now, Pope John. Over the years of the ace chant, where they'll all huddle up. Usually there's some sort of stomp involved, and then they'll chant ace. That was always a fun one.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look out for that.
Good dig chant by Valio. Yeah, see, something like that.
There you go. Well, we saw it.
No, but I'll always remember my sister played volleyball for a couple of years at Paramus High School, and her sophomore year, as the serve goes right into the net, they made it. They won the state championship, then they won the Tournament of Champions after that. And going and seeing some of those games were the energy, not only that was on the court by the players, but in the stands or in the fans was incredible. And that's something that you see a lot. That chant, the handshakes, it's all part of that same thing.
It's an exciting, emotional game. Now, we just saw a really exciting point. Pope John will get this one off of a wide hit from Blair. We just saw an example of how exciting it can get. I mean, we had the point that lasted however long it did. It was back and forth, Yep. On the edge of your seat the entire time. And it's a sport that requires a ton of passion and it requires a ton of effort. And that's that's where you see all of those things kind of manifest themselves.
Scored 19-16, or rather 16-19. Favor Pope John here in set number 2. Serving is Paula Hong for the Buccaneers. Trying to, once again, keep themselves alive in this one, but like, once again, just a little bit of miscommunication that time as Mabry Bear ended up being a little bit hesitant, hit it sideways. Out of bounds, 20-16. Now Pope John, as we're getting late here in the second set. Though a 4-point lead, really not anything you'd call a big lead. Put up points in a hurry in this game. As there's one for Blair right there as the serve went right into the net. 20-17. Serving for the Buccaneers, Sophie Pollock. She comes up with the ace, make it a 2-point game, 18-20.
And Pollock has been very effective while serving here in the first set. She showed how good she can be and how good this Blair offense can be with her serving. Pollock and Valio doing a fantastic job, giving their team the best opportunity to win.
Lions look to set up here. Kiss with the drive. Dug out nicely by Arana. Pennell comes up with it. And Kiss could not come up with the block that time. So it went over the net and fell down. And they're going to give the point to
Point's going to go to Pope John as they said that Pennell was a little bit too far underneath.
Aha. That's why we bring you along. Another point for Pope John. Now up 4. 22-18. They need 3 points to close this one out. Good dig. That time by Paula Hong. And it ends up resulting in a Buccaneer point. Now a 3-point game. 22-19 here in the second set. Pope John up 1-0 in the match.
Cannot count this team out. And look who's serving once again.
It's Morgan Valio. Well, you know when you'd rather have serving in this situation if you're the Bucks. Good dig that time. In by Pennell. They're going to say did not come in time.
I'm not sure if that hit the floor, if maybe she was out of bounds, but
I think they ruled that it hit the floor before she did. And now we are at match point as it's 24-19 in favor of Pope John. Serving is Kiss. Dug by Hong. Setting up. Lowndes gets it over. Lions trying to ice this one. Little tip over. Pennell just shoves it right up. Pollock leaves back for Pennell. Drove it over, and we'll do it again. Bucks just going all out here, trying to keep this one alive. Nice tip by Lowndes. It was dug out nicely. And a point coming here for the Bucks.
And another fantastic point for the Bucks. I mean, when they go back and look at the tape of this game, Joe, they're going to see some phenomenal points that stem from tremendous effort.
Bear serves. Goes over. 24-20. Pennell tries to keep it alive. But she cannot, and this one is over. 25-20. Here in the second set, and it is a straight set victory for the Pope John Lions in this one, 25-22, 25-20. And despite that result, though, all things said, not a bad match for the Buccaneers. They really played well.
I think they did. And they made both sets come down to the wire here, and there were some tremendous points in there. There were some really positive things that you can take out of this. At the end of the game, you have Olivia Kiss, who I believe came into the game with 79 service aces, and she's been outstanding for them. We saw how good that she is. She lived up to the hype. And you know what? Some of the Blair Buccaneers lived up to the hype as well that we were excited about seeing play too. So we saw some phenomenal effort out of Staffy for one. Morgan Valio did a fantastic job. I was really, really impressed with what I saw from Lucy Pennell, and obviously Sophie Pollock, who we heard about and we talked about before the game too, did a fantastic job. So I want to go over some of the I want to just show some of the replays here. One, we'll take a look at that point that lasted seemingly forever. That was really, really exciting, and Blair came out on the winning side of it. And we're going to watch the entire point in its entirety. Don't care how long it takes us. And we'll go back. Actually, we're not going to watch it in its entirety because it didn't record that far.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
We will watch what we have here. And this is just back and forth. Both teams just unwilling to give in. You saw some phenomenal digs, some great effort, some good defense, some good spike opportunities. And this play, which kept it alive from Pennell, I mean, that might have been the play of the day. And that led to eventually the point for the Buccaneers as this one sails wide, but that was phenomenal. And then we saw another great point at the end of the game, which will rewind and show you here that Blair was able to take advantage of as well. And you'll see right there who's in the middle of it, but Lucy Pennell once again. And just the effort of this team, you can't ask for more. Obviously, it's a young team. Obviously, it's a team that needs to build and needs to grow. But you got to really be happy with this effort here today, Joe. As you see, huge points like this, and they're able to get on the winning side of it. So a lot of positives you can take from it. Obviously, not the outcome that they wanted. A strong opponent in Pope John, an experienced opponent, and just a great overall effort by both teams.
And it certainly was. And we'll take a look at what Blair has got coming up on their schedule over the next couple of weeks. They play Mercersburg in their next match on the 18th. That one will be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And they've got some state tournament things coming up. Of course, though, nothing really finalized as far as any of that goes as well. They've got Rutgers Prep coming up on the 21st, Warren Hills on the 25th, Vernon on the 28th. That's Montclair Kimberly here on the 29th, and then all the way into November where they finish up their season against Lawrenceville.
They do. It'll be November 1st, and it will be at Lawrenceville, and that's a very strong team as well. So the states are coming up. I believe the finals for the states will be on October 30th, which we will be covering here on Strive. But this is a it was a fun experience. It was good to come in here and see him. I think Laura Curtis has had this program absolutely in the right direction, and I think this team is going to be phenomenal in years to come. And we're going to remember, the first days of the program. Remember the first time we covered Blair Volleyball, and it was the first season where they were actually able to have a preseason, and that'll be a distant memory because they'll be probably at the very near top, if not the top of the league in years to come. And
certainly, like we mentioned, you see the potential on display, but today, of course, coming up just a little bit short as they fall 2-0 to Pope John here this afternoon. We want to thank you very much for taking the time to watch a broadcast and listen. For Tom Monfiletto, I'm Joe Vasile on Strive TV saying thank you very much and have a pleasant tomorrow.